Hi guys, this is Excelsior PH with Flying Fish, and you're watching Champions Chat. We are now going to interview the seasonal champion for Empires of Descended for the SEA Shard, and of course, as you know, all know, it's Flying Fish. Flying Fish, welcome to Champions Chat.
Hello, hello.
You know, this is a show about the champions that we recently had for the seasonal tournaments, and we would like to know them more because, of course, the champion is just it's not just a title; it's a person, right? You want to know the person, how he became a champion, and with that, we have Flying Fish right here. Again, thank you for giving us your time. And let me go on with the first question because this is very important. You would like to know the origin story, right? I know you as Flying Fish here in LOR, but how did you gain that IGN, Flying Fish?
So it came from my brother actually. It was started with the ID Drowning Fish. It was actually a pretty like to me it was like interesting. Like fish don't drown in the water usually. And so I was trying that in-game ID, but it didn't work. It was taken.
Mhm.
So I tried another one like Flying Fish because I thought like, well, if the fish cannot drown, fish cannot also fly. So maybe I can try that, and it worked. So and I stick with it because I kind of really liked it.
Well, that's very interesting because you don't normally. You're the second, if I'm correct, the second animal-based IGN from the recent seasonals. We had the last Champions Chat was Mr. Bear. That's a bear, and now you have a fish. Do I need to change my IGN now to something like Jumping Fox or the Quick Brown Fox or something like that, just to be able to win the seasonals? Because I'm seeing a pattern here. Maybe it's the caster in me, but of course we want to know the next question. Of course, do you even fish, Flying Fish?
Yeah, I actually did have some experience fishing. It's kind of fun.
Well, I'm actually admire people who fish because it takes a lot of patience, and patience is what you need in LOR, right?
I
Especially,
believe so.
right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes there are moves that you want to make, but you don't. Yeah, you have to have the patience to wait for the opponent to move. Is that a skill that you need, Flying Fish?
Yeah, definitely. Amongst many other, I would say the more important one is probably like
Yeah,
calculation.
calculation as
But
well. Yeah, quick maths, right? It's very
yeah,
important. Oh,
you need to be able to do the addition and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's very important as well, guys. So keep it in school. Just know your quick maths and apply it in LOR. But let's move forward. Okay, it has been 1 year since LOR was launched, right? But did you even play LOR during the beta days? Even more than 1 year ago, Flying Fish.
Yeah, I did play during beta. So before Rising Tides came out, I did play for the whole open beta season, but I didn't get a chance to play closed beta. I was really inspired when I first saw like Riot is going to make this card game that's going to be free, and then instantly wanted to try it because it's free, and I always wanted
Yeah.
to play a card game, and then I really liked it, and so I stick with it, and then played more in it, and then yeah,
Wow, that's actually nice. And one thing I'm thinking from that is it looks like this is your first CCG. Is that right, Flying Fish?
Mm, so I did play a little bit of Hearthstone, but it
Oh
was
yeah,
like casual mobile trial kind of thing. It
yeah.
was getting really expensive too quickly, so I quickly uh, stopped playing it and focused on other things, like League of Legends, for example.
Oh,
So it's not my first CCG, but it's definitely the first CCG that I really invested a lot of time and
that's right.
effort into.
Oh, that's really good to know because you would want to have that game where you do progress, right? And when you spend a lot of time on that game, you'd want your growth, and when you translate that growth into the competitions like the seasonal tournaments, and that's where you apply it, right?
Yeah.
So that's right, that's right. And before that, of course, you said you played League of Legends. Is that the only game, or do you have any other competitive games that you participated on?
Not really. I used to play for fun.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's important. We usually
Oh,
just
I guess,
start,
but
right?
playing competitively is also kind of fun. So I'm still playing games for fun.
That's right. That's right. I find myself usually starting games for fun. Then at some point, okay, there has to be some game that I can be competitive on, right? And when you have that part of you, you're having fun, and after a while, you just want to have fun with others, right? With while being competitive. So it's really nice, and you get that with Legends of Runeterra. So speaking of fun with others, Flying Fish, I would like to ask if you're affiliated with any group or any clan or any club for Legends of Frontera.
Not really. Not at this moment.
Not at the moment. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
But is any group like trying to recruit you? Okay, you're good. You're a good player. Come here. Come here. Let's be good together. Do you have any kind of group that that wants you in their own group?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but to me, like joining a group is a very serious thing, and I don't want to commit it without the ability to.
Yeah.
So if I really say yes, I want to join, and then carry the team's name, I really want to make it a serious thing. That so I'm currently not in that stage of my career, if you want to say so.
Yeah.
I think I'm still on the path of trying to improve and trying to become a better player, basically.
That's right. I understand that, Flying Fish. That's actually a good trait right there. You're waiting for yourself to be more prepared or more prepared to be committed, as you said, to that specific team. And when you do commit, it's 100%. That's important for any endeavor or for any path that you're going through. And with that, I would like to ask, can you tell us why it is important to join such groups for our other players who want to join?
Hmm. So although I didn't join any groups,
Yeah,
I did a lot of preparation with my friends that also play RR.
yeah.
Like for example, Storm, if you guys may know him, like one of the really high ladder player in the North America shard,
Oh,
and uh, yeah, and I also played with Ace several times to practice. Also one of the greatest ladder player in NA shard. So I think to have people, great players around you to play with you and play against is very important for your improvement because they're also super good and you can improve as well. Um, so definitely finding someone that also enjoys is very
yeah.
important, I think.
That's right. What I'm getting from what you're saying is like you have to find like-minded people, right? People
Exactly.
who will
Yeah.
get you to improve in the game. Because just if you just try to play with people who are probably sorry for the word less skilled than you will not improve as much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm sorry
it's
for
not
that.
so friendly, but
It
yeah, I
it's the
think.
truth. It's the truth. If you do play with less skilled people, there's like less chance for you to improve. It's not like you gain a lot of experience from that. But if you do get,
I think
yeah,
I think what I want to say about that is that you do improve, but it's different ways.
yeah,
Like you
that's
have
right.
to focus on practicing, and practicing with someone who is more skilled than you is definitely a much faster way because they
That's
can
right.
point out your mistakes.
That's right.
Um, but once you get to some stage, it's more about like focusing on specific matchups and like focusing on more like calculation, as I said,
Yeah,
more about math, about how well this card matches to the other card and what's the probability of this and that.
yeah.
So it's less about skill. You can still improve playing with your friends.
Oh
As long
yeah,
as you
that's
get
right.
someone to play with, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, I read a book that you have to put like 10,000 hours to be the master of something. But yeah, I get your point, right? You can still play with your friends, even with any level of skill, and you still get that kind of experience to your own gameplay. And talking about gameplay, right? I want to know the time you spend to prepare for a tournament like the seasonals. How many hours? How many days? how many other players do you play with before or while preparing for the seasonals?
Mm, that's a good question. I think a lot of people are interested in that. So usually for me, like especially for LR's seasonal tournament, you can't really start too early because there's like the patch. After the patch is the only time that you know for sure that this is the environment that you're going to settle. But even like with that, we see the environment changes a lot. Like at start, it was aggro that's still like dominant, and then we see Thresh Nasus and
Yeah.
Trundle Lissandra control. But in the end, in the top 32 in the tournament, we saw something quite different. We saw that there are a lot of unique decks that tries to counter the strategy pops up.
Yeah.
So to prepare for the tournament, I would say usually uh, I started for the open round about 1 week, and
Yeah.
I also only get 1 week to prepare for the top 32. So that's about the time uh, frame that I got to work with.
That makes sense, right? That makes sense. Considering that there are a lot of changes just to make the game more balanced. If you do play the practice before that, that's not going to apply towards the seasonals because the seasonals plays with this certain patch, right? So, but in terms of 1 week, you told us 1 week. How many hours? Like, do you have 40 hours in the week? Like, how many hours a day? Can you give us a ballpark number?
Uh, mm, Usually we don't play game like we don't measure. We just measure how many games we
Oh,
play. I
games.
probably play about like uh 30 to 50 practice games that specifically target certain matchups
Okay.
to prepare. Maybe next time I'll play more. I still feel like I don't practice enough for the
Yeah.
tournament. Um, but that's how much I prepare for this seasonal top 32, I say.
Okay, that's actually still a good trait I'm seeing in you, Flying Fish. You see yourself as even though you have had a championship title, you still feel that you don't have enough. That's good because you would want to keep on improving. That's how you get good at this game. You don't want to plateau. You want to keep on going up. But moving forward, from the pro player perspective, I would want to ask, what would you advise for those aspiring pro Legends of Runeterra players?
So for anyone who want to play more seriously and improve faster, I would recommend be comfortable stepping out of the comfort zone to play decks that you are not so comfortable with.
Oh yeah,
And especially when you're trying to prepare for some tournament like this, you have to be very familiar with all the possibility of like the tier 1, tier 2 decks
yeah,
that players are going to throw at you. Um, and you don't have to be expert in every single deck, but you have to also be good at realizing what's your comfort pick because everyone have different style and everyone is uh, enjoy plays different kind of decks that suits their personality. Someone likes to take more risks.
yeah.
Someone are really good at calculation and feels just more comfortable calculating every single thing that the opponent is going to do and then control the board. And basically, like all these, they're like LR is such a expensive deck builder that you can actually build so many different decks that really suits your style. And out of the top decks, as we see this tournament, there are actually a lot of different style. We saw the
That's right.
combo, we saw overwhelm mid range, we saw Trundle Decision Control. Um, so basically, my suggestion is to first find your comfort, and also second, step out of the comfort zone to really make sure that you're constantly challenging yourself with familiarly, like understanding what you don't understand.
That's right. I agree with you, Flying Fish, because if you do get out of your comfort zone and play those decks that you don't usually play, you would know how to counter, right? That deck, especially when you're playing against it. Or you would know the next moves of your opponent, especially when you're playing against it. Because you would do that, right? You might do it differently, but it's not going to be as far as you would think from what you would do. Am I correct? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Like, for example, I specifically try to play Trundle Lissandra Control, even though I'm not good at the deck.
Yeah.
It still taught me a lot about their weaknesses. For example, I used to think that they have everything in hand,
Yeah.
but then when I played it, I just realized I just have nothing in hand.
Yeah.
So probably sometimes the best way to do is just to ignore anything and just go for it when you feel like
That's
probably
right.
they don't have anything.
Yeah, that's right. Someone once told me, in since I've been playing a lot of CCGs, usually there's no actual wrong threat actually, because there is, you just put the threat and the opponent actually has the chance to answer it. That's where they go wrong. They might go wrong, right? So in Legends of Runeterra, I've seen this happen most of the time. I'm always thinking, does he have it? Does he have it? That's the usual question, right? That's the usual question. Does he have it? Does he have the answer to this one that I'm going to put down? The minion that I'm going to put down. The spell that I'm going to use. Does he have Notify? Does he have Deny? The usual questions, right? So
Mhm.
really, it's actually a good mindset that you have told us, Flying Fish. But let's move forward in terms of the Empires of Descended seasonal tournament. I would like to know the best play that you encountered, and of course, in terms of the worst play as well. So, just share us any of your experience regarding that tournament.
Sure. So I really enjoyed a game with I remember it was top uh it was like top four, basically semifinal,
Yeah, semifinals.
and it was the third game of the match.
Yeah.
So the last game basically, and the deciding moment. So it was a Radiant Soul Zoe
Yeah.
versus Trundle Lissandra Control. So
Okay.
I was playing ASO Zoe, and the board was like this. So I have two dragons. They have two blockers. I do 7/7 dragons,
Okay.
and they had 11 health basically.
Okay.
So I have these three sharp sides in my hands,
Yeah.
which is really rare to have.
Yeah.
I have three. So if I add them all up, and if they don't have, so if I use two of them, I get lethal basically because the Trundle can only block one.
Yeah.
But then if they have anything, basically any freeze, I'll instantly just like, I don't think I'll ever have enough damage.
Yeah.
But then it was like turn 8 or something, and I realized that this is probably the last moment I get. If I don't do it here, it's very likely, I think, he will just like use the combo and then obliterate my whole deck.
That's right. That's right.
And from some previous read, I got some slight read that they probably have a lot of combo in hand, but not any freezes.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So I went to the very risky play, but also not so risky play of like sharp setting, like putting two sharp sides
Yeah.
and then try to go for lethal.
Okay.
And luckily for me, they didn't have any freeze, but they
Oh, yeah.
still have a Withering Wail. So Withering Wail is like +3 health, right?
Yeah, plus
so
3 health.
now I'm 3 health away from lethal.
Yeah.
So I still have one more sharp sight and a single combat. So I can use the single combat plus the Fury of the Dragon to kill the Trundle to get like the three attack I need.
Yes.
And super risky, right? They still have 6 mana up. They can
Yeah.
still freeze. They can still and via fees or play a second Withering Wail or like even the ramp
Yeah. That's
plus
right.
3 health.
Yeah.
So, but then I thought like I didn't really have any choice, so I went for like just all in, played everything,
Yeah.
and then, well, to my surprise, but also like to my relief, but also not so surprisingly, they actually did have nothing.
Yeah.
Like as I read, like, so I did actually correctly read their hand, and that's my proudest moment of this whole top 32 because I think that game was really tough to win as an ASO player because I didn't really have any like early plays to put on a lot of pressure. I didn't have any early invokes to deal with um, too many watchers.
Yeah.
So I was really happy how I was able to really catch that moment and then
Yeah.
just end the game right there.
Wow, that's actually a really nice experience. You just went all in. You are just worried that the opponent is just going to answer your units, your big units, and yeah, it's just nerve wracking. If you're playing Legends of Frontera's tournaments, and I've seen some players, and I've actually tried to play some tournaments as well. It's actually tiring. It's mentally tiring, right? Just
Yeah.
because you're thinking of the possibilities, all the possibilities that are going to happen, and yeah, that's actually a good moment that you share with us. And yeah, very just he just went all in, just prayed and just of course believed in the cards that he
Yeah,
has
I live
nothing,
in the
right?
heart of the card.
Believe in the
Yeah.
heart of the cards, and that he has nothing right there. And you said a while ago that this fits in your whole story, Flying Fish. You played Liz Strundle, and you found out that it mostly doesn't have answers, and you got it.
Well, usually you do have answers,
Yeah,
but it's surprisingly less than I thought.
yeah,
Like you can often end up using up all your resources and don't have any in your hand.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have. It's usually like in terms of the number of cards, usually one off or two off, rarely three off. But yeah, that's right. That's right. And with that, of course, we are going to the last portions of this interview. Okay, I would like to ask: do you stream Legends of Runeterra?
I don't personally stream, not yet at this moment. I probably will make. I prefer making videos, I would say.
Well, yeah,
So maybe I will try to do some Mogwai style deck videos in the
yeah,
future.
yeah,
Uh, mm, if you're interested, you can maybe follow me on Twitter. I don't post often
yeah.
yet. But other than that, yeah,
Yes,
I
of
don't have
course.
too much to share at this moment.
Oh, that's actually nice. You can follow him there at Flying Fish LOR. That's his Twitter handle. I actually found him over at Twitter. I am finding players right now over at Twitter, Discord. Just give me their names and their sources. I'll find them. I'll interview them. And we found Flying Fish right here. Congratulations again for winning the Empires of Descended seasonal tournament for Southeast Asia Shard. And with that,
Yeah,
any last words, Flying
thanks
Fish?
for having me. It's my pleasure to be able to like share some of my thoughts
Yeah,
and try to inspire people to be a better player, I guess. I
yeah.
still got a lot to share, I think, but maybe next time.
Okay. Well, that's it.
Hopefully, I'll get another chance to share it.
Well, that's it.
Hopefully,
You will possibly have a chance of like there's that keeps on going, and you have a spot over at the World's Tournament. So maybe see you there. We'll see if I get a casting spot for that one. But again, I'm happy to have interviewed you, having to pick your brain on certain stuff, and want to for letting us know Flying Fish. And with that, guys, thank you again for watching Champions Chat. It has been a pleasure to interview Flying Fish. Bye, guys.
thank you so much. Bye.